It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Mrs. Rachel Leah Kanarek. Your maiden name was Trachman.
Trachman, yeah.
We're here in your beautiful home in Ramat Eshkol in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But you were born very far away.
I was born in Kharkov. We left Kharkov in 1942, something like that.
When were you born?
1934. So we left Kharkov because of the Germans. When we left Kharkov, the Germans were raining the city. So on the radio they said, Jews run away because the Germans killed Jews. On the radio they announced. And so my father decided to leave Kharkov.
Can I ask, your parents,
yeah,
their parents and grandparents,
yeah.
did they also live in that area? Did they also live in?
Yeah, all my parents lived there, and the grandparents lived in near Kiev. His parents lived near Kiev, called a little town Pryaslav.
And your mother's parents?
My mother's parents, they lived in Lithuania someplace, Lithuania someplace, and they left that place in the First World War, because there was a war going on, so they left that area. So they came to Kharkov. In Kharkov, my father also came. They got married there. Yeah. So.
And they were very frum. They were very religious.
Very frum. They're frum. They kept all the mitzvahs. My father used to learn Torah. He learned also. My father learned also in I forget all the cities.
He was in yeshiva.
He learned yeshiva. Yeah. He learned yeshiva. He learned by a certain rabbanim. He learned. So my father learned Torah, and till the end of his life, he was learning Torah. In Israel, he got remarried, and he was still learning. Yeah, so but it was Ishtorani. So in order to leave Russia, you cannot leave Russia legally. Especially in those days, they didn't know the Iron Curtain. Anybody want to leave Russia, they send you to Siberia. It means you're a traitor. So they just sent that place to Siberia. And at that point, that's what happened. The end of the Second World War, they loved plating in Russia. They loved immigrants. So after the war, they allowed the immigrants to go back home. The immigrants to go back home to their original homes. So the Polish were able to go to Poland, and Lithuanians to Lithuania, and the Russians back in the Russian homes. So my father didn't want to be in Russia because he wanted to keep mitzvahs, and in Russia he couldn't keep mitzvahs. So he decided to go to Poland. From Poland to go further. He decided to go to Poland. From Poland he went in other cities. He ended up in France. And France is a little town, Bailly. And they loved plating there, loved immigrants there from the who survived the war. Bailly was a religious place. You see that after the war that machanot, I call it machanot, camps for the survival, for the people who survived the war. So that for religious people, not religious. So not religious people have many. For religious people, that place Bailly, near Paris. So this place was especially for religious people. Rabboni were there, and Rabboni were there, and many religious people. Maybe Yentef Erlich, we know, he is a famous singer. Yentef Erlich was there. A lot of religious people were there. Only religious people in that area. Bailly. Just now was a story about Bailly. If I could tell you a story about Bailly. So my father, in order to leave Russia, he had to make himself Polish. So he took a passport from a Polish person who died, and used his passport to leave Russia. Because if you use Trachman, this means he's Russian, then you would be be a traitor, would be sent to Siberia. But he used with the new name, the fiction name, which was Weinbrand, to leave Russia.
But Rachel, can I ask you, what what do you know, or what was the earliest memories that you ever had? What is your earliest memories? What growing up?
I remember when we left Kharkov, yes I remember.
Do you remember?
Of course I remember.
How old were you?
I was about 6 or 7 years old.
And you remember?
Yeah, of course I remember. Yeah.
What happened?
I will tell you what happened. My mother just gave birth then. My father was in Sava, was in the army, because everyone has to go to the army. He wasn't in the regular army, he was in the civil army in the city. And he was watching for bombs in the civil army. And when she gave birth, my father got, like not vacation, he got out of the army.
Like a pass?
Yeah, because he had a wife who gave birth. And those few days that he had, short period that he had off, we decided to leave Kharkov. And happened to be, we knew a train is coming on Hoshana Rabbah, was on Sukkot. So we decided to leave Kharkov on Hoshana Rabbah, which is not allowed, but we went to Hoshana Rabbah. And we left Kharkov. And we got to the station. The station was already closed, because the Germans were in the city. So my father knew some years before, he was selling cigarettes there. So he knew a place where it's open place in the station. So we went to that open place for the train, and we took the train to leave Kharkov. Where we decided to go towards east.
Can I just ask you before, do you remember your home and growing up in Kharkov?
In Kharkov, I remember our home, yeah. First we lived in a big home, and that big home was very cold because the people used to steal the coal. So it was always cold. So after that we moved to a small house, and they were able to heat our house with also coal, but with an oven, a Russian oven. It's called the Russian oven. Russian oven, they built the oven into the wall, and then there are a few walls facing that area, and the heat spreads in the house.
And were you in a kindergarten, or when you at that age were you?
No kindergarten. I didn't have a kindergarten. It was with my grandparents and my parents.
And do you remember Shabbos? Do you remember the Chagim?
Shabbos, I remember, but we kept Shabbos like we kept here.
And the Beit Knesset?
We never had Challus. Challus never had Challus.
You never had Challus?
We made Kiddush on bread.
And do you remember the Beit Knesset, the synagogue?
Beit Knesset, I didn't go to Beit Knesset because I was a child. But my father used to go to Beit Knesset. There was a Beit Knesset in Kharkov.
But on the Yomim Noraim, do you remember going? Do you have any memories?
I didn't go there. I didn't go to Beit Knesset. But they had a Beit Knesset, like an area of the Beit Knesset.
And how many children were there in the family?
At that time were 4. Fourth was born, but she didn't survive. She died later on. She died. Didn't survive. That baby that was born just then didn't survive. She died in Samarkand. From during the war, from Kharkov went to Samarkand. You heard about Samarkand?
I've heard.
Yeah.
But do you remember leaving your home?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Were you sad to leave, or were you sad to leave when you left? Were you upset? Were you sad leaving your home?
No, I didn't feel anything. I just know I have to go to where my parents take me.
And what could you take with you?
We took with us, the main thing we took with us was bread.
Food.
My aunt of mine worked in a grocery, so she stole from there a whole trunk of bread. A trunk. We shall have bread. She stole from there because we shall have bread on the way. So that bread was very useful. We used it for a while. Later on, was finished. We had to go get other bread.
Did you have other relatives in Kharkov?
We had my aunt Esther. She was there in Kharkov, and she went with us. My grandparents were with us. That's it.
And your friends? Did you say goodbye to your friends, or?
No, I didn't have any friends. I was a child. I didn't have any special friends. No.
And when did you leave? Was it during the day, or?
What?
Do you remember when you left, saying and looking back at the house?
We went with a wagon. There were no cars anymore. So we went with a wagon towards the train station. And train station, in a few minutes got filled up more than the capacity. People on the roof, in between the cars. Also non-Jewish people also left. Yeah. And we were going towards east.
And you got in the train?
We got into the train, and first we sat on benches. Later on, they put us under the bench because it was very crowded. And we got the first stop was a city called Penzia. That was first stop after 12 days of traveling.
12 days?
12 days.
Did you have enough food on the train?
We had our bread.
And that lasted for the 12 days?
We had for more than 12 days. That's the full loaves of bread there. But later on, it got finished. My father went looking for bread in the streets. So he found a pauper. We had old bread. We bought it from him. Because we didn't have what to eat. We found a pauper to get some bread. But that bread lasted for a long time, for a few months.
And was it very difficult on the train?
And the train was very crowded. And we came to the next stop. After the next stop, we got not a regular train, a train that has goods, I call it a train that carries merchandise. And we're sitting on the floor, no more benches. We're sitting on the floor. And we're traveling towards east.
Did you know where you were going?
We knew we were going towards the east.
But you know which city or which town?
So we got next to Tashkent. Tashkent. My grandmother had to go. We had to get her out of the train because she was very sick. She had tuberculosis, so she got very sick, and we put her in a hospital there in Tashkent. And after Tashkent, we got to Samarkand.
How long did you stay in Tashkent?
Tashkent, we didn't stay at all. We didn't stay, just we put my grandmother there, and then we kept on going further. And then we went to Samarkand. And when we put her in the hospital, we planned that my grandfather would go stay with her, but she died there.
Oui.
She died in the hospital there. And we went towards Samarkand. In Samarkand we stayed for a few years, like all refugees. Refugees came to Samarkand. Up to this day you meet some people that were in Samarkand, many refugees.
And you remember Samarkand?
Of course I remember Samarkand. In the beginning we all got sick because of the conditions, we all got sick. No, not seriously. We got measles and scarlatina, and that. So that we all got sick when it came to Samarkand.
And what did your parents work?
My parents worked here. My father somehow got out of the army. And go to the army. And we worked in Russia. You have to steal. You can't live honestly. So they joined the factory of cotton, and they used to get cotton to work with at home. And we used to soak the cotton to make it heavier, and steal some of the cotton. But in Russia you cannot live without stealing. Please forgive me, my food bothers me. I found my food.
What an amazing story.
What?
It's incredible. What you went through. It's
No, we had to so.
Was it very cold? Was it?
In Samarkand was not cold. It was like Israel. It wasn't cold in Samarkand. It was a hot country. It's hot there. It's like how call it?
Humid, a bit humid.
You know that we're afraid of that country. What the country? Samarkand is forget names.
But did you have enough food to eat, or was it?
Food. We got carts to get bread. Yeah.
And what happened? Did you go to school when you were there?
No, we never went to school because we didn't want my father didn't want to Russian schools. So we never went to school. Samarkand, I went to a cheder.
They had a cheder?
Yeah, they had a cheder there. Chabad man was teaching us. Yeah. So we went to a cheder. only for 2 months, not all the time. And I used to work by the cotton house. In the house we used to all work in it. And we tried to soak it to make it heavier and to steal some of it. Because in Russia you must have, if you don't steal it, you can survive.
And did you speak Yiddish at home?
His mom spoke Yiddish. I spoke Yiddish at home. Unless I knew Russian.
And you knew Russian as well?
Yeah, but now I don't know Russian. Yiddish I still know, but not Russian.
And your neighbors, were they all Yidden, or did you have Russian neighbors?
Most of them was Uzbekin.
Did you make friends with any of the...
Like children play together. Yeah, nothing major. Yeah, play together. Nothing major.
And did you ever have anti-Jewish feeling?
What?
Did any of them? Did you have anti-Jewish feeling with the other children?
I didn't have so many Jewish friends because most of the neighbors were Arabs.
But how did you get on? Did you get on okay? You got on?
I got on okay, yeah. They also steal from me sometimes. I had something in my pocket. They stole it from me. In Russia, you must steal. The passport that we got was from a person who died from famine.
Sure.
A Yeshiva who died from famine. So he left behind a passport. So his friends brought us his passport. This passport we left Russia.
And what do you remember of the Cheder?
The Cheder, we learned, some Tanakh, we learned some Chumash. Yeah.
And was it in Yiddish?
It was in Yiddish, yeah, in Yiddish. And also some Jewish girls were there. There were a few girls, not a lot, about 10 girls altogether.
And did they have a shul? They had a Beit Knesset?
Yeah, of course, that shul's there. That shul there. I didn't go to shul there, but that shul's there. Yeah. That shul.
And at this time, did you know what was happening in Poland?
We knew on the radio. We knew that they're killing Jews.
You knew?
Yeah, we knew that the Jews get killed there. But how they get killed, we didn't know exactly, but we knew they're killing Jews. And Stalin kept on saying, they're winning the war. Stalin on the radio, he was not saying that they're winning the war.
Did you ever hear what had happened in Babi Yar, or?
This we didn't know about Babi Yar. In fact, my grandparents got killed in Babi Yar.
They were killed in Babi Yar?
Babi Yar, my father's parents.
In Babi Yar?
My father's parents killed in Babi Yar. Yeah.
When did you find out that they were killed in Babi Yar?
After the war we found out. Yeah, in fact, you didn't know we were killed around Yom Kippur. So my father tried to daven as a chazan on Yom Kippur because the Yortzeit of his parents were on Yom Kippur. He wasn't sure, but he was told by his sister, who survived the war, also that they were killed on Yom Kippur. So now in the radio also heard that they got killed on Yom Kippur. Rabbi Yel, they killed the Jews on Yom Kippur.
And Rachel Leah, can I ask, when your father decided that you must leave,
what?
When your father decided to leave,
to where?
To the east, that they must leave.
Yeah.
Did your mother support? Your mother was...
Of course, all of us went left to the east. All of us went the same way. My grandparents, my parents.
They knew that there was no future.
What?
They knew that they had to leave.
Where to leave?
They knew if they stayed behind it would be very bad.
No, everybody would get killed.
You knew? They knew?
They killed everybody. In fact, my father had a friend who told him to leave. He said that it's a lie that they don't kill. But they killed all the Jews in Kharkov.
All the Jews?
Yeah, all of them were killed. Somebody said they remember one Jew maybe was left.
In the whole of Kharkov?
All of Kharkov. All of them were killed. About 20,000 Jews. So all the Jews in Kharkov. And with all those who survived, those who left Kharkov survived. My aunt survived, but she didn't love. She not leave Russia because she's afraid. But she stayed in Samarkand even though we left Samarkand. She stayed there.
So how long did you stay in Samarkand?
About 5 years.
That's a long time.
I left when I was 6.
And what type of home did you have?
What?
What type of home did you have?
We didn't have Ramatashko. We had made out of clay.
Out
of clay. That kind of home. And it used to rain in the winter. Used to rain in because the material was it was clay, so it used to rain in the winter, and in the summer was hot. So we used to take the beds outside to sleep out in the to stay away from the heat. We used to put the beds outside. The scorpions also there. And it was a very primitive place. And the Uzbekim sat on the floor. They were like Arabs. Yeah. Uzbekim sit on the floor. In the winter they put the oven in the middle of the room. And they sat all around the oven and put the feet under the oven to keep themselves warm.
Wow.
And summer they stayed outside.
And did you make friends with other Jewish children?
I tell you, only the Cheder. And the Cheder I didn't get so close to them because I was a young child. I was 6 years, 7 years, 8 years old. When I left, I was 12 years old.
And was the Cheder far from your home or near?
It was not far. There's no transportation there. We had to walk all over. No transportation. No bus or no train or nothing. And then when a train came to there, that's it. Came to that stop and that's it. But inside the city, no transportation.
So Rachel, there was you, and did you have a brother and a sister with you?
I was one of 5 children.
Who were the other children?
So all the way we were in the house. The youngest was born just when we left Samarkand. So the youngest, that's my brother. And
What was his name?
One sister was born in Samarkand, one sister, and we left Kharkov with 3 sisters and a baby, four children.
And what were your sisters' names?
My sister, of course, I know Batya, Sarah, and Tzipora, and the brother Moshe.
And were you all close? You were all
close, yeah. We were all close. My sister and I left some, only one sister survived, so far she's alive. I was at birth of the youngest sister. She was born in the house. Because we couldn't find somebody anywhere to deliver, but in the morning we did find somebody. But she got labor in the house. We didn't have what to deliver. My father had to deliver her.
He delivered one. And was there a doctor?
There were doctors. There are doctors. Samarkand are doctors, yeah.
And how were the local police or the local people, the municipality, did they welcome you, or did you feel okay being there?
No, we didn't have much to do with the Goyim. We didn't have too much relationship with the Goyim.
But they let you stay there. They didn't.
The only thing when we lived was the owner of the place was Uzbek. He was nice to us. And he even tried to give us some fruit and vegetables. It was nice. And we paid him rent. We lived in the cheap houses, and we paid rent. And that's how we survived here. Yeah.
And what did you do during the day? You went to Cheder, but what did you do?
I used to work. I used to help with the cotton. I used to work. In fact, I worked in a factory for a while. I used to work. I used to also, we had no water in the house. I had to bring water into the house. Yeah. I used to carry 3 pails, now I can hardly walk. I used to carry 3 pails of water. I used to get water from the river and bring it to the house. Drinking water was one faucet in the city for drinking water, and the water from the river was for washing, but for drinking we had special water.
And keeping kashrut?
Kashrut, we could keep kashrut, yeah. Kept kashrut, of course. Kept kashrut. In fact, till Samarkand we never ate meat, because in Russia we couldn't get meat. In Samarkand we did get meat. We used to kill a cow and get meat from the cow. But no refrigeration, so we had to eat the meat the same day. Mm. We used to try to keep it fresh, put it on the wall sometimes, someplace, but we didn't have enough where to keep the meat to stay fresh. Mm.
And did your parents have other friends, other Jewish friends?
Of course, our friends, they even help people. Yeah, he has the Shiva come to the house, something to eat by us. And in fact, one boy came to us, he was Shiva, he was in the army, and tried to run away from the army, came to our house. My father gave him some clothing to change his uniform, and he stayed away from the army.
And he didn't have to go back to the army?
What?
He saved him from going back into the army?
He didn't go back to the army.
It could have saved his life.
What?
It could have saved his life.
Yeah, could we say his life, but he ran away from the army, was a shoemaker. And he came to our house, they went to our house, and he got some of my father's clothes, and he stayed away from the army. My another uncle was killed in the, two of my uncles were killed in the army. One was a father-in-law of my father. He was in the army, got killed. And the brother of my mother got killed in the army.
And were they in the Russian army?
In the Russian army. The Russian army was very, very fatal. Sometimes the Russian soldiers used to kill the Jews also. It wasn't such a nice place. So these two people. I remember this uncle, my father's brother-in-law. His name was Natan, like a Breslov, he was a Breslover. So he came to our house before he went to the battlefield. And my father told him, "Don't go, stay here." But he didn't listen. He went to the army and got killed. He got injured a few times, and then at the end he got killed. The Russian army wasn't such a nice place for me.
And you stayed there till the end of the war?
Till the end of the war, stayed in Samarkand.
Do you remember when they announced that the war had ended? That
the war ended. I remember when they started using antibiotic. When they were talking, they got a new medicine for the soldiers, which was antibiotic, I guess. So people were happy to have such a medicine for their soldiers. I had to bring water to the house. I was busy in the house. I had to bring water. I had to work in the cotton. I was productive. But I didn't know how to read and write yet. But I didn't know how to daven. I learned how to daven by myself.
By yourself?
Yeah.
And in the Cheder, they didn't teach you to read and write?
In the Cheder, I know already. When I came to Cheder, I was already, I know how to read in Hebrew. How to read Hebrew. But Russian, I didn't know how to read and write. Only Hebrew and Yiddish I know.
And what happened when you heard that the war had ended?
We were just happy, and then people planning to go back home. So the people planned to go back home. That's when my father got the idea that we should leave Russia as a Polish citizen. That we got a Polish passport. My mother had a passport that looked like Polish. She was born in Lithuania, which is like Polish. So she used that passport was good to leave Russia. But my father had to get a fictitious passport.
And that's how you could leave?
Well,
that's...
No, we left by train. We were going towards Poland. And then by the way, so somehow...
And when did you leave? Was it in 45?
45, yeah. Left Russia. And we went to Poland. And in Poland, my father sent us to Kinderheim.
Which town were you in Poland?
In Poland, we first went in Krakow.
You went to Krakow?
Krakow, and then went to Lodz.
Can I ask, when you went to Krakow,
yeah,
what do you remember of Krakow?
I remember from Krakow.
Because there was once such a vibrant Jewish community there.
No, that time when we were there, no Jewish community. They had a place for refugees. So we stayed in that, like a certain place where refugees gathered. So we stayed in that place. So my foot hurts. We stayed in that place, and then I guess my parents didn't like that place, so from there he went to Lodz.
But can I ask, when you were in Krakow,
yeah,
did you Did you remember seeing a lot of other survivors coming in?
No, not too many.
Not too many.
No. Not a few Jews were there, very little. And then from Kaka we went to Lodge. Lodge were more people. And we didn't have a home. We stayed in a machsan,
It's
where you keep things.
a storeroom. It's like a storeroom. But when you were in Krakow, did you go to the Ramah, the Beit Knesset of the Ramah?
No, didn't go to any place.
You didn't go to the shuls?
No, didn't go to shul, didn't go to Ramah, didn't go to any
How
place.
long did you stay in Krakow?
A few days. From Kaka went to Lodge straight. But we didn't say too much. And we didn't look for... We're not tourists. We try to keep ourselves alive. So we just went to wherever we could get more comfort. We didn't look for any interesting places.
But to see the Ramah, the shul of the Ramah.
No, we couldn't go there. We didn't go in all the places. We just tried to survive. So we looked a place where we could get.
And how was the city? Was it damaged by the war, Krakow?
I don't know. I don't remember so much of the city. We just we stayed in a big hall, and then went for Lodge. That's all.
And how did you go to Lodge?
By train. It was dangerous, the plane. After the war, they were still killing Jews, Polish.
Poland was very dangerous after the war. After the war, it was still dangerous.
Yeah, still dangerous. So in fact, when on the train, somebody told me they wanted to. The Polish were talking about throwing us out through the window. So that he told us, you know Polish, that man. He said they're talking about throwing us out through the window.
Could you understand Polish?
No, I don't know Polish. Later on I learned to Polish, but then I didn't know. I knew Russian, but I didn't know Polish.
And why did your parents decide to go to Lodge? Did they have family in
No,
Lodge?
they decided because they felt it's more comfortable there, I guess. More comfortable. From Lodge they sent us to a kinderheim. They were collecting children to keep the children in a certain atmosphere. So they're collecting children like a children's home.
Was this in Lodge?
In Lodge. Because in Lodge we were homeless. We stayed in a machsan. So my father decided to send all the children to children's home. And it was very good, the children. It was very good. And
it was a Jewish one?
A Jewish one, full one, probably good as Israel. It was very good that place. Very good education. They had schooling there, and they had proper food. It was very proper. Everything was nice.
And this was in Lodge?
In Lodge.
And
not the Lodge. No, from Lodge we came to a children's home, and we didn't stay in Lodge. From Lodge they sent us to another city. They collected the children, and the kindergarten was in Germany.
Oh, you went to Germany?
To Germany. The children's home was in Germany, because in Lodz was a dangerous place to stay. Poland was dangerous. So my parents, I know what they did after we left. I know what they did. They traveled to France.
How long did you stay in Lodz?
Lodz was. I stayed very little because my father sent us to the kindergarten, and how long they stayed. But they also didn't stay too long. But then they traveled from there towards Germany and towards France.
Because can I mention, Rachel Leah, in Lodz, after the war, there was a group of teenagers from Bnei Akiva, and they were killed in Lodz after the war.
That's what I said.
And when you go to the Beit Kvarot, to the cemetery, you see that they were killed in 45, 46.
That's it. So my parents didn't stay too much in Lodz. From Lodz they went further. So in fact, my brother didn't have a bris till he was half a year old. He was born in Samarkand before we left. So they traveled against to Germany and then to France.
And do you know where the kinderhome was in Germany? In town?
Ulm, I know it was. It was in Ulm. A city in Germany. The Germans were nice to us. After the war, they were nice. After the war, nice to the Jews, to the Platon, to the Jews. It was the best place for the Jews in Germany after the war. Also France was beside, but Polish was bad. Poland was a bad place to be after the war.
And in the Kinderheim,
Yeah.
where you were, were there a lot of other? It was a Jewish one.
A Jewish one.
And
And the children, most of the children were Yisraelim. They were by Goyim. They took them out from the Goyim, from Goyim.
that they were hidden in Goyish families.
Goyish families, yeah, most of the children. A few children, maybe one more family had parents. But others, all the other children were all Yisraelim.
And that you had brothers and a sister and
my
sisters
sister
and
My
parents.
parents also had parents.
So you were
Yeah.
you quite unique?
What?
Were you special that you had parents and
Yeah,
brothers
yeah.
and
I
sisters?
didn't feel special. I feel like one of the children. I feel like one of the, but I know that they're Yisraelim. I have parents.
That they were orphans and you
Well,
weren't.
the orphans, yeah.
And they came from all over Poland.
From all over Poland they came. They used to, they used to pay for the children. They tried to get the child of the Goyim. There's a price. I remember they were talking about 20,000 zlotys they paid for a child. They tried to get the many children from the Goyim. Some children didn't want to leave the Goyim, but the many children were taken from the Goyim.
And what more? It's unbelievable. What more do you remember of the Kinderheim?
Again, it was a very nice place. Very nice place.
Were you by yourself or your sisters?
No, with my sisters also, of course, my sisters. And we had very good madrashim.
And your brother as well was with you?
No, my brother was still a baby. He was still by my parents. He was a baby. But my sister was next to me. But I was 6 years old when I left Kharkov. She was 2 years younger. She was 4 years old. And the other was 3 years old. Yeah, they were all baby, younger. And we were, but when we were in the lodge, so I was already 12 years old. So my sister was 10, the other was 7. So in the Kinderheim we were like all the children, we're not old, not big, but we knew already what goes on.
And did you make other friends with the other children?
The other children, yeah, friends with them, yeah, we were friends. We made friends with the children. They used to take us on to Yulim. Yeah, they were very good to us.
And the food you could eat,
Very
I'm
good
sure.
food here, very good food. They used to serve there, good cooks, you know. Kinderheim was a nice place. I stayed there about a year till my parents took us back from the Kinderheim back to their home.
And in the Kinderheim, you learned that you had...
We learned, of course, we had it like at school. We had like that. We learned that school there. The Kinderheim, I think, was before, during the war, I guess, was kind of a German camp, I guess. But we got it as a nice place.
And with the other children that were orphans,
Yeah.
did they speak about what happened to them?
Yeah, they used to tell some stories, what happened to them, what happened to the parents. They used to tell stories.
They would speak.
Yeah, they would tell them what happened to the parents, but not exactly, not all of them they knew what happened. But many of them used to know, and so they used to tell these atrocities.
And they were from?
All of them, if they're not from before, they became from. The Kinderheim was a from place. In fact, they even have special boys learning in like a group of boys who are learning Torah. You got special benefits.
Do you remember any of the names of the teachers or the rabbonim?
I know some of them. I know one of them, a monk.
Rab Monk?
Rabbi Monk was there. Somebody Hollander was there. Some other teachers. I don't remember all the teachers.
And how many children were there, roughly?
There were about, probably, maybe, not that many, more than, probably about 200 could be.
And all different ages?
All different ages, yeah.
And did you remain friends with any of the children?
Only one person I met. After I came to this, I met one girl that I knew. But the others I just lost contact.
And did they have a bite or some ladies that would help you, that you could speak to? Did they have women that you could?
No, we were children, and they make sure we eat. They make sure they take every morning. Have to wash ourselves. But they made sure that that get proper.
And was all the staff Jewish?
What?
Was the staff Jewish?
Yeah, all of them were Jewish, not from Jews.
And were they loving? Were they very loving towards you?
They were nice to us. Yeah.
They were nice to you.
Yeah. Let me tell you about one of them. One of them I met her in Israel. She went to she came to Israel. One of from the kinderheim. She survived the war. She was an older girl. She was maybe 16, 17 years old. So so one of the madrichot adopted her. Whenever she had a holiday, she come to her house. She said, when she came to her house, she only lived in one room. That lady, that madricha. She said, "How do you have room for me?" She said, "In one room, there's room for everybody. And you have a lot of rooms, then you don't have room for everybody. Then you have a library, you have a dining or living room. In one room is room for everybody."
It's such a lovely, and it's true. It's always true.
So that girl used to go to that lady. She was she didn't have a mother, it's like a mother.
But the madrichot were nice to you.
What?
The madrichot were nice to you.
And she got married here, and she had a nice family here.
And when you were in the kinderhome,
Yeah.
did your parents come and visit you?
No, they couldn't.
They couldn't.
Get there. But they sent the messengers to take us back home to their home.
But could you write letters to your parents?
I'm not sure even if I wrote. They knew where I am, and then they had in Bayid had a home, so they took us there. They sent the messenger to bring us home.
And where did you go from there?
From there, we wanted to go to Israel. They didn't let us come to Israel because we was a young family.
And it was still under the British.
Yeah, Israel under the British.
It was the mandate.
Not so much under the British, also the Jewish people didn't want that because they wanted Chayalim. And we had no Chayalim in our family. So all of us were children. So we went to America.
You went to America.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
This is 1945, something like that.
So 45, the war ended and you spent a year in Germany.
46.
46, 47.
Yeah.
No, so it was still under the British mandate. They still had the white paper.
Yeah. So some of them went to but they had refugees in near Israel.
Cyprus.
Huh?
Quite a few were sent to Cyprus.
Where?
Cyprus.
Cyprus. Went to Cyprus. Yeah, we didn't go to Cyprus. We wanted to go to Israel, didn't let us because they didn't want us in Israel because we were a young family. They wanted families which had us Chayalim. We had no Chayalim. My father was a family man, and the children were all young children. I was 12, I was the eldest. My dads were younger. So we went to America. Rabban Kotler helped us get the visa to America.
Rabbi Kotler?
Rabbi Kotler, yeah. He sent us the visa to America. Because my father used to help the yeshiva program. So that they had the schools.
Did your father know any of the yeshiva bochim from the Mir?
No, not from the Mir. He knew the yeshiva program. I found him not so much from other yeshivas. Some of the Rabban Kotler he knew. What others, maybe. From some yeshivas, he knew people from yeshivas. I don't know from which yeshiva, but he knew many of them.
And from the kinderhome, where were your parents staying when you went?
I stayed in Bailly, in France.
Oh, so then from there you went to France?
Yeah. And I went to France, that place was a Jewish community in Bailly.
And how long did you stay there?
There we stayed a few months. And from there we went to America. They joined in the IASA used to help us.
And how did you get to America?
That's by boat.
Do you remember the trip, and do you remember
Yeah.
do you remember the name of the boat?
I don't remember the name.
But the trip you remember?
Yeah, that you remember, yeah. You got all of us got nurses.
And did you have any mishpacha in America?
America, we had mishpacha, but he didn't want to know us.
Oh no.
My father had a brother there, but the brother was afraid of him, asked for help. So he said when he's not his brother. But later on he needed help. He came to us again. He came to us. The brother needed help, so he came to us.
So what do you remember about leaving France going on? What do you remember about leaving France and going on the boat?
Nothing special. You know,
Was it a difficult trip, the boat trip?
the boat wasn't easy because we got nauseous. So, and then after we came to America, the Hayas and the other organization, the joint, they helped
And
us.
on the boat, did you have enough food?
Yeah, not enough food. Yeah, not enough food.
And did you get to New York?
We got to New York, and they didn't leave us. That place that used to have the refugees, I call it.
With Ellis Island?
Ellis Island, they didn't send to Ellis Island, sent straight to New York. We were lucky enough.
And when
Other
you
people just go to Ellis Island, but they sent straight to New York.
and where did you go in New York?
In the east side, We went in upon the east side.
And did you know any English at this time?
No English, no
And your
English.
parents?
Of course they know English. So in America I learned English, I went to school there.
And on the Lower East Side.
And I was in the old side and I learned
Do you remember the kahila that you were with, or?
And the east side, nothing, no Kihil, not special. But later on we lived next to Moshe Feinstein,
That's
the east side.
because he lived on the Lower East Side.
Yeah. He lived next door to us, next building to us.
And you remember Remoshe?
Yeah, of course I remember him. Of course. I remember him. I used to go to his house.
And did you know that he was such a special Rav?
We know he's a special Rav, this we also know. But that time, people didn't so much, not so many Jews appreciated it. And not so many from Jews, not so many religious Jews.
And did your father ever go for Psak Halacha, or did he
No,
also?
they did. Always we had the Shiloh, he has to go to Moshe Feinstein. He didn't know anything, he has to go to Moshe Feinstein. I used to go to his house, out of Shabbos sometimes, to ask him what's the halacha, the chicken, where it is. Yeah. He lived next door.
And what school did you go to?
Ishakov. First, that Ishakov I went, the elementary school that time had about 80 girls in the whole school. But my class had about 12 girls, very, very small. That the Ishakov started. The Ishakov started in that period. And the high school had also very few girls.
And were most of the girls also immigrants, or?
Most of the girls are not so much immigrant American, but they didn't have too much Jewish education. So some girls, I read the book of Robinson Kaplan, some girls kept only half a Shabbos. There's not much education.
And did the girls ask you about surviving the Shoah, or did they ask you any questions about?
No, they didn't ask us.
Did you speak about your experiences?
No, not too much.
Not too much.
No.
Did nobody ask you, or?
No, they didn't ask us too much. No, that's about the experience. In fact, the girls didn't like us. They used to call us greener. The girls didn't like us because they call us greener.
A greener?
Immigrants.
It's people inexperienced, or newcomers who are inexperienced. Greeners.
Yeah.
And the teachers, were the teachers good to you?
The teachers were nice to us, yeah. But the children, the girls didn't like us too much.
But did you make friends with American girls?
I made friends, yeah, I made friends with them. One was more special, one was less special, but I made some friends.
And did you learn English easily?
Well, I learned English pretty easily.
And your parents?
I picked up a language fast. I also picked up Polish. I knew Polish.
It's a gift.
I was in the kinderheim. Everybody spoke Polish. I also spoke Polish.
And your parents, did they manage to speak English?
They didn't know too much English. My parents didn't know too much.
It's harder when one's older.
Harder.
And did your father manage to find work?
My father got to work bookbinding. He bought a little store, bookbinding store, and he learned how to do bookbinding, and he worked in that shop. He bought a little shop from bookbinding. And when he got from the Hayas and the
joint.
So from that money, he was possible for furniture, and some of the money he used to buy that shop. That job also. He didn't have any special trade. So he tried to work in bookbinding.
And did you make friends with your neighbors, with your...
Yeah, we made friends with our neighbors.
And Rachel Leah, can I ask you, at this time when you were in America, did your parents find out what happened to the remainder of their families? When did they find out?
They know everything what happened. They know those who got killed, or those who survived, they survived. They know about it.
They knew even before they got to America?
Yeah, before they got to America, my father had a brother in America, in St. Louis. So he was afraid of us, so they were going to ask for help. So he tried to say he's not related. And he had the cement of another, because we used a different family name. Our family, instead of Trachman, became Vibrant.
But did he come and visit you?
Later on he came for help, he needed help.
But not in the beginning?
At the beginning, no.
And he had a family himself?
He had a family, yeah.
And you never... Wasn't that disappointing?
It was disappointing, but you have to accept it. This was a Mashiach. But yeah. But later on he needed some help for the... In fact, his son needed a place to sleep. He came to us to sleep. They needed some help, and they came to us.
And what happened to your grandmother? She was nifta. She passed away in the hospital.
Yeah.
But what, your grandfather and your aunts, what happened?
My grandfather passed away in Samarkand. But we couldn't go back to Tashkent to look for her. It's a different kind of a life. You can't just go look for people. And many people got lost and they couldn't find them.
Do you know where she was buried?
We don't know. She was buried where it is. It's a different kind of a... In those days you can't just look for people.
And were your parents depressed? Were they very upset what had happened to...
They may be depressed, but what can they do? They can't help it. Those children died, or the parents died. Many people died because of the plague. They got, I call it, that sickness that people get when they're of poverty.
There was typhus, there were many...
Typhus, yeah.
And between your siblings and your parents, could you speak about what had happened to you in the war?
In the war?
Could you speak to each other?
Yeah, I tell you what happened. I'm writing even a book now.
But could you speak to your parents and to your brothers and your brother and your sisters? Did you speak to each other about what had happened?
We didn't speak too much about what happened, because we were busy. When you're a refugee, you're busy taking care of yourself. So I got married. I was busy with my family. I have no time to go tell stories.
And okay, and you went to school, and then what happened in Beis Yaakov? Did you stay till
I graduated, and then I was teaching. Became a teacher.
Where did you teach?
Beis Yaakov also.
And who were the other Rabbonim or the other?
I know Moshe Francis. I know other Rabbonim.
Rav Kotler, did you meet Rav Kotler?
Of course I didn't meet. I was by Levaya.
But did your parents meet him?
My parents met him, and also my brother learned by him. By Rabbi Kotler. My brother learned by Rabbi Kotler.
Have they already established Lakewood by then?
Yeah, that's Lakewood already.
And your brother went to Lakewood?
He went to Lakewood to learn, yeah.
And Rabbonim, did you remember any of the other great?
I don't remember so much of them. I just know Moshe Feinstein knew. Rabbi Kotler, I know about him, but I never met him. I know all about him. I never met Rabbi Kotler.
And did you meet any of the survivors from the Mir Yeshiva that came back to America?
I met some of them, but I didn't have any special connection to them.
And did your parents have a lot of Bokrim coming to the home? People that...
In America, not too much. In Samarkand, you had our Bok come to the house. In America, not too many. Because everybody got busy. They all were also busy to pull themselves up.
Yeah.
They got getting married and having families.
And where did you meet your husband?
I met my husband, my house.
It was a shidduch?
I guess somebody suggested to my father, the shidduch, so my father told me to meet him, and I met him. We got married.
And where was your husband from?
My mother was born in Germany, Leipzig. But he learned in Kamenitz, he learned in Yeshiva. There's Rosh Yeshiva over there.
And when did your husband come to America?
During the war. Because he got some kind of a paper, somebody gave him a paper to come to America. Kestenbaum. So he sent them an affidavit. And they came to America during the war.
And his family, did they also manage to leave?
They got killed in the Shoah. They got killed.
Who survived? Who survived?
They were sent to, I call that, death camp. I always get names. That came from Mengele, was
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz. Sent to Auschwitz.
So who survived in your husband's family?
Survived from his family. His brothers, he had two brothers, they survived. That's the three brothers, they all survived. His sister got killed together with the parents.
And where did he learn, your husband?
He learned, before the war, he learned Kamenitz.
In Kamenitz?
Kamenitz, yeah. That's Rosh Yeshiva there. Learned Kamenitz, and then he was traveling a little bit with the Mira Yeshiva.
He was traveling with the Mira.
Towards Japan. And from, he didn't get to the Chinese place.
Shanghai.
Shanghai. He didn't get to.
But did he?
From Japan, he went to America.
So your husband went to Japan.
Yeah, he went to Japan.
Did he have a visa from Sugihara?
Not Sugihara, no. He got the visa from America, and he found the visa in Moscow, I think, in Russia. Found that visa.
And did he go to Japan?
He went to Japan. From Japan, he went to America.
So he was with the Mir?
He was with the Mir for a while. The Mir, he was in the Mir in
Japan. And he was with the Mir in
Vilna.
He was with the Mir?
Yeah, a little time. And from there they had to travel further because otherwise he would get killed. So he went towards Siberia. From Siberia he went to America.
From Japan
Yeah, from Japan to Siberia, then went to America. He said he found the visa in Moscow. In Moscow, they found the
because the train went on the Trans-Siberian to Vladivostok and then to...
So first they got to Moscow. In Moscow they found the affidavit. From there they traveled towards...
I went to Vladivostok and from there to Japan.
From Japan they traveled to America.
And did he speak about being with the Mir and being in Japan?
He didn't speak too much. We didn't have time to speak too much what happened because we were busy, raising a family. We were busy working.
And did he get smicha, your husband? Or?
My husband got smicha, yes.
Who did he get smicha from?
He learned Chofetz Chaim Yeshiva. He learned for a long time Chofetz Chaim. He learned this about 6 years. He was a teacher there. First he learned and then he was a teacher there. So he taught about 60 years. He was Rosh Yeshiva. He was Rosh Yeshiva Chofetz Chaim. Almost till he died, till he was 90. And then he learned a little bit in the house. He died in 99. He was about 99 when he died. So some Bushkis come to learn in the house a little bit. And at the age of 99, he became unconscious and he passed away.
And your husband, did he go to the Mirror in New York?
And he was all the time with the Yeshiva Chofetz Chaim. All the time with them.
In Lakewood, did he ever go to see Rav Kotler in Lakewood?
His brother learned Rabbi Kotler. His oldest brother was a Talmud Rabbi Kotler. Yeah. So he went to Lakewood to visit his brother. Now once I also went with him, so I didn't go inside. We lived in a very small apartment, so I waited outside for him.
So your husband was the Rosh Yeshiva of Chofetz Chaim?
He was Rosh Yeshiva there, not the Rosh Yeshiva.
But he was a Rosh Yeshiva in Chofetz Chaim?
Rab Henoch was the Rosh Yeshiva. But he was he worked at Rosh Hashiva.
In Chofetz Chaim.
Yeah.
And when did you come to Israel?
1970. So it's more than 50 years now.
And you happy that you came?
Baruch Hashem, yeah. That's what got this apartment. I hardly paid anything for it.
I remember Ramat Eshkol in those days was
much for free.
And your children?
My children didn't get this apartment.
No, but where do they mainly live, your children?
One lives in Harnov. So she bought the apartment also much cheaper than now. And my son lives now in Arnona. He used to live in Telstone. But now he lives in Arnona. And also didn't pay too much. And he should live in the Shtachim.
And do you have any family still in America?
Yeah, I have all my children in America. I have two sons in America and their children. And I have a daughter in England and her children also there. And she has a son in England and a daughter here in Bet Shemesh.
And with your sisters?
My sisters were all in America, all of them in America. Now they're all not alive, except one is still alive. She's now staying in Lakewood. She's the younger sister.
And your brother?
My brother also in Lakewood. One brother is in Lakewood. My food heritage. My brother was born in Samarkand before we left. So and of course he's an elderly man. He's in Lakewood.
So the whole family remained from?
Yeah, the whole family is from. Except my son, who lives here, his children are some of them became out from. My son's children.
But they're here.
Israelis. In Israel wasn't such a good place for them.
No, it's still good.
But all the others are all from. My sister and brothers are all from. And my grandchildren are in America, they're all from. In fact, my youngest son has very nice children, all from children.
It's wonderful.
In Lakewood, they live in Lakewood.
So Rachel Leah, if I can ask you, what message do you give to your grandchildren and to the future generations? You've seen so much, you've gone through so much in your life, and it's incredible.
The message, they should be Jewish children. They should learn Torah. All of them learn Torah. All my children, my grandchildren, all of them learn Torah. My daughter has 9 children, they all learn Torah. And
but it's Nissim. You're alive because of Nissim. There were many miracles in your life. Hashem showed many Nissim.
Yeah. There were so many Nissim that we survived, and we try to. All our family is a united family, a Torah family.
And your father's brother, eventually did they make shalom?
Oh yeah, they made shalom. They were a very good shalom. In fact, his sons came to sleep by us, to eat by us. Yeah, his sons learned Torah. One son was also in the army in America, but he was a fun guy. He has those nice children.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. That brother, they made, just at that point he was afraid to go out. Many times they asked help from their relatives. He's afraid going to ask for help because we're refugees. So he said he's not a brother because he has a different name, Brian Trachman. And then he made friends and he asked for help. He asked for help.
And do you remember when you saw your father's brother for the first time?
Yes, I remember seeing, but I didn't have.
Did you have a kesher, or was there a kesher? When you saw him for the first time, was it an emotional?
I think just hello. That's it. I'm nothing emotional.
But your father, was he emotional when they made?
He just said, you come, gesundheit, you want to eat here, you want to be here. That's special.
But you come from a very special family.
What?
You come from a very, very special family.
I can.
your family was very special.
Oh, my family.
And your parents were amazing people.
Yeah. My father remarried in Israel. And he's buried in Har Hazation.
And your mother was nifte in America.
And the madam, they brought us to Har Hazation also.
So, Rachel Leah, thank you so much. So, Rebbetzin, you got married when you were 16.
Yeah.
And where were you married?
Between me and my son were 17 years apart.
And can I ask, where were you married?
In a hall what's called Golden Matter in Brooklyn.
And your parents must have been so happy at the chasana.
They were happy, yeah.
And you had many guests. Many guests came to the chasana. Many guests. You had many people that came to the chasana.
Yeah.
You know, if you think your husband, he didn't have family, and it was just you, your family, and look how many people rejoiced in your simcha.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I'll tell you a little story about Moshe Feinstein. When we got married, we had no relatives. We had only my sisters and brothers, my brother, my sister. My father had no relatives. His brother said he's not a brother. But Tim Sheberbach said, nowadays they make Sheberbach in your hall. Those days we had no meaning for Sheberbachs. Moshe Feinstein came to Sheberbachs uninvited. My husband didn't invite him because he was an older man. He didn't want the body should come to Sheberbachs. He came to Sheberbachs uninvited, and he said even a drosha. We're neighbors in this side. And he came to the Sheberbachs, my husband didn't invite him because he's an elderly man, didn't want the body should come to Sheberbachs. So he came himself to the Sheberbachs and said even a drosha.
And here is at your chasana with Reb Moshe Feinstein.
Yeah, Moshe Feinstein teacher by that table, yeah.
Zigizun.
Here is Moshe Feinstein. And that's
it's the Kudalei Hador.
Yeah.
And you have such wonderful pictures of your father walking you down with your husband and his brother.
Yeah. And his older brother and my father on the other side.
These pictures of your chasana are so special. This is you with your husband.
Yeah. So because I think it's a niece of mine.
And this is with your mother?
It's my mother, yeah.
How many people came to the chasana?
She came a lot. 100 people, yes.
This is the bedeking? And when you first met your husband, when he was how long did you decide to get married after you met?
After we met, within a few months we got married.
And how long were you married for?
We were married for 70 years.
70 years.
Except he died on our anniversary.
But that's special, actually.
Tavis, when was you base Tavis, and he died without the Tavis 2 days later.
2 days later. This is at the reception.
I don't have tape. I could tell you some of the Rabbanim here. I know this is Trop, here, Rabbi Trop.
If we can just turn around. Where's Rabbi Trop?
Yeah, here's Rabbi Trop. These are all nephews. nephews, nieces. And here Rabbi Trop is here. He is Rabbi Trop. And there's Rabbi Kahana, also Rav. There's Rabbi Henach from the yeshiva. There's Rabbi Scheinberg. It's Rabbi Scheinberg.
And you have that old. Look how many friends you had.
Yeah, they're from the school.
So you invited
Bisakov school, the high school.
You invited the whole high school?
I invited them. They came to the wedding.
This is the Beis Yaakov High School.
Beis Yaakov High School, yeah.
That is so special that you invited the it's so special that you invited the whole school to come.
Yeah.
It must have been very Lebedik, the wedding.
It was nice. Like any other wedding. It was a nice wedding.
These are just at the main table with your parents. And your parents, they got on very well with your husband?
Oh, they got on very well, yeah. Got on very well. It's the oldest brother, my husband's brother and his wife.
And they lived also in New York?
They were like in Lakewood. They were, he learned in Rabban Kotler.
So they moved to New Jersey?
Yeah.
And Rebbitzin, this is at the Sheva Brochas?
Huh?
It's at the Chasana, that's at the Chasana.
Yeah,
But giving Sheva Brochas?
That's Chuppah.
At the Chuppah, but giving...
Huh? That's Chanech, he's the Rosh Hashanah Chaim Yeshiva. To another life. He's the Rosh Hashanah Chavetz Chaim Yeshiva. Penach Leibowitz. He's there, also pictured there. Yeah. And this is my best friends.
And you remain best friends all the years?
Somehow, but they were all in different places.
You made a very special bride.
That's me.
This is you with your husband. And it's so nice to see that such a simcha at your wedding.
They have a table here. And these are their children here. This is my sisters here. My sisters also. 3 sisters here. These are 3 sisters, my sisters. And the others are some relatives. This is my sister-in-law. This is her mother, my single mother.
You can turn around, I'll just want to show. So your sisters are over here?
Here, my sisters here. This is the one next to me. This is Sarah. And this is my younger sister. She's still alive. These 2 are not alive anymore. She was born in the house, my younger sister.
And Rebbitzin, who walked you down?
Walked me down?
It's your mother?
My mother and my sister-in-law.
Your sister-in-law?
My sister-in-law. I told my husband had no parents.
Yeah.
They died in Auschwitz.
It's just so wonderful to see these pictures of the chasana.
fact, one of the boys gave my husband a present, a set of dishes, gold covered. The decorations is from gold, 24 karat gold. I used it for Pesach, still there.
And represent, who's with your husband in this picture?
What? His friends. His friends are going with him. His friends are going, not my parents. His friends are going here. And the girls are also my friends.
This is so special. Sure.
I know who it is, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're just dancing here.
This is another picture of the chasana. And this is a picture of your sister's wedding.
This is my sister's wedding. Yeah, this is my sister's wedding. I'm here. See, I'm here. My mother's here. My sister, my brother, my sister, and that's my son and daughter. This is my son and daughter.
We can just turn around. This is with your. What year did your sister get married?
What? She's next to me.
But when you and your sister, when did your sister get married?
She got married a little after me. Also maybe in the same hall. But the husband died very fast. He had cancer.
Oh, yeah.
He died when he was 20 something.
Oh, yeah.
When she was 22, she was already a widow.
And then this is a bit later, a picture with your husband and you.
This is the dressing. Yeah, I tell you. This is a picture of my husband. This is a family picture. This is the family picture. My daughter-in-law, my daughter, my sons. All three sons. I have 3 sons. 3 sons. My daughter. And my husband's in the middle.
Very special.
My son, he was in Sabah, paratrooper.
Really?
John Khan.
When was he?
In Yom Kippur War.
The Yom Kippur War?
Yeah.
Such a beautiful picture. So he was in the Yom Kippur War?
Yeah. Now he's an old man. My children are also old.
That's wonderful. And Rebbetzin, you've been the cultural director of the Tamir.
Yeah.
For 30 years.
More than 30 years.
And you're still working as
I'm still working there, yeah. They still don't fire me.
Because you are the best. There's no one. It's such a special place, the Tamir.
A very special place.
Very special.
And very special staff. And I try to bring the best people. I brought them the whole staff. The rabbi, the teacher for handcraft, somebody maybe in a not.
But you know, Rebbetzin, because I've been to the Tamir many times.
Yeah.
It's got a very special atmosphere, a very happy atmosphere.
I know. Ema Bait is Chaya. She's a very good Ema Bait.
But it's not. People are happy there. And when you go in there, you feel elevated.
I know. They are very happy there. And we try to make them happy. And the very good Ema Bait, Chaya is Ema Bait. I think she got the prize from the government to be the best Ema Bait.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. And I brought them back, and I brought them to staff. They have the rabbi, the teacher who does the handcraft, all the exercise teachers I brought them.
It's wonderful.
Well, they bring them. I have a lady who does for them that picture, female. They hear this. You see that picture, female? Mm-hmm. I think she's the best in the country. That's the teacher, that female.
Wow. So I just want to take, these are the pictures of the Rabbonim in your home, the Chavetz Chaim, and
there's a Chazanish.
the Chazanish.
This is a shiur of Kamenetz. Robert.
Tobir.
Robert.
Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, sure, very special.
Feinstein, next is Feinstein. And the next is Henach Leibovitz.
It's very special. Well, I am so grateful to you, Rebbetzin. I'm so grateful to you. This has been, it's been such a privilege to be with you.
Oh, thank you. I didn't tell you everything.
Well, there's many more chapters to open, but thank you so much. And you should just continue in strength and do the most amazing work that you do.
Yeah, because they still keep me there, even though I'm old. And they tell me to work at home. I go once a week, I go in.
It's wonderful.
And at least I work from the house.
It's wonderful. Well, Bemet Toda Rabba im Kol Halev. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Every Shabbos I have them a chazan and 2 speakers, Hebrew and English. Every Shabbos.
That's very special. But Rebbetzin, I want to thank you really. I am so grateful to you.
I make them entertainment concerts of chazonim.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You bring a lot of joy to many people. You bring a lot of joy and happiness to many people.
I give them very good lecturers. I bring them. Hashem HaKadosh helps me.
Well, for many more years to come. Ad Mei V'Esrim.
Yeah, Ad Mei V'Esrim. Asher Hav Koyach and Moyach.
So, Rachel Leah, I am so grateful to you. There are no words to thank you enough. And I think your story and what you went through and your family, it is absolutely nisim and niflaot. It really is miracles. It's mamish miracles. And you are an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you.
So you should just have mazel brocha. And if I can ask you, can you give us all a brocha? If you could give us all a brocha.
Whatever you do.
Rachel Leah, thank you so much. There are no words to thank you, really. I am so incredibly grateful to you.
So I don't see anything special.
Your story and your life is just, it's just unbelievable. It's remarkable. And you are amazing, really, and I'm extremely grateful to you.
Papa must I forget some names.
No, it's just wonderful being here in your beautiful home, and all of Hashem's blessings.
Yeah, like our home.